Good evening and welcome to the Selectmen's meeting of June 22nd, 2023. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So first on the agenda is a special permit. So I move that we open the hearing to consider the application for special permit, public hearing for Loretta Tenuta, located at 9 Birch Lane. Waive the reading of the notice of incorporated the notice into the minutes of the hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, may I approach?
Yeah, just state your name and
So for the record, my name is Lori Robbins, the attorney representing the applicant. And I want to present some photographs of this pre-existing, non-conforming structure.
Beautiful
The
building.
lot.
Nice.
It's a wonderful cottage that was built in the 40s in Beechwood. And
Silts are especially attractive.
yes, it's identified in the assessor's records as 1.5 stories. The lot is pre-existing with regard to frontage. The structure is pre-existing as to side yard setbacks. What the applicant is proposing to do is demolish it, and we did get a demolition delay permit from the Historic Preservation Commission authorizing that demolition to occur as it is not historically significant. And what they're applying to you is under your 6.1.2 C bylaw that says you can demolish and expand a pre-existing non-conforming or alter pre-existing non-conforming. In this one, unlike a lot of them that you've seen, this one is going to be smaller on the footprint than the pre-existing non-conforming structure, but it's going to be a little bit taller. They're going to put a foundation in and 2 stories, but the footprint will still be less than the existing. So it's a rare.
that's rare located.
That's rare.
Yep. So here is with your application, you all have a copy of the survey plan. And we also have something showing the existing footprint.
And how high will it be?
The height is less than 35, and this is Linda Shafferoff, the builder.
It is less than 45 feet.
Okay.
Might be,
Meets the requirements of both.
Yeah.
it'll be, God, that's little.
It is
It's the only house you're working on, isn't it?
25.
That's fine. Sorry for that.
Is any of the non-conformance increasing?
No.
No,
It's
okay.
all getting
Is the
smaller.
footprint within 10%?
Yes,
Is the total square footage within 20%? I
absolutely.
make a motion to close the hearing.
We these figures in the application.
Against.
What?
And the neighbors
You have to give an
are
opportunity.
okay with the height?
Yeah, but I will confirm for the record, this is in the application, that the existing lot size is 27,744 feet. 10% allows a footprint of 2,774. This is going to be 1,000 feet. The density would allow 20,000 because it's now 2 stories, would allow 5,558 square feet, but the 2-story dwelling that they're proposing is 1,895. All well within your requirements.
For and against part.
So for that reason, we think it is a very modest proposal, smaller than the footprint, well within all your requirements and well within your requirements for expansion of pre-existing non-conforming. It's not going to be any greater non-conforming. And I think all of your requirements for the special permit can be found. It's in compliance with all requirements. It is desirable and convenient to the public welfare. Upgrading of existing structures is a benefit to the public. It will not be detrimental to adjacent uses or establish future character. It will remain a single family, and it will not create undue traffic congestion because it will remain as a single family, and it will not expansion will not overload any public services. It will be served by a private well and is on town sewer. For all those reasons, I would suggest that your board can grant a special permit for a pre-existing non-conforming.
Okay. Is there anybody out there speak in favor of this? You want to speak or are you just in favor?
No, I just, we're just.
We have a question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, come up and state your name. Yeah, just come up to the table.
And with us tonight, just so you know, is Laura Tornado, who is the owner, and Linda Shafferoff, the builder, just so you know who's here.
Hi.
In case you have any further questions.
Name is John Morse, 11 Birch Lane. Just curious, my wife and I have both reviewed the blueprints, didn't see any provision for a garage and wondering whether that's going to be built.
No plans as of yet, no.
No plans?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody out there speaking in opposition of this special permit? Seeing none, I move that we close the open meeting at this part.
The evidentiary portion.
You have the evidentiary portion. It's sitting there, it says it right there. Do we have a second?
Patrick did.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any comments from the board?
Motion approved.
Motion to approve. Second.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you for making it easy.
Nice, well, it's a good proposal.
Never a smaller.
Never done a smaller proposal. So that's why I think it's a really good proposal. You guys can keep those.
Oh.
Have a second.
Should I frame it?
You can hang it, well, they can hang it.
Right where Norman Rockwell.
Okay. Next, we're going to take action on one-day alcohol applications for Norman Rockwell Museum for a wedding on August 19th from 5 to 11 p.m. Church Botanical Garden for graduation on July 28th from 5 to 8 p.m. Festival on October 7th and 8th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. A reception on July 19th from 5 to 8 p.m. A fundraiser on July 8th from 5 to 8 p.m. Do I have a second?
Is there
Any discussion? Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Short-term rental status, software status. update.
Right.
That's,
Well, as you know, at town meeting, it was approved that the town do a one-year pilot program to get short-term rental software that would allow us to track registration, track compliance with our current bylaw. So Patrick's put together some notes. What I think is one of the selectmen should work with me on bringing in a couple companies, interview, and then come back to the board with recommendations of which one would best allow us to meet our compliance issues.
and that would be,
And I think Patrick is very much interested in being involved in this, and. that's
you
within
are
his
the
wheelhouse.
computer.
I just know, yeah.
You got any objections with Patrick?
No, because he
Okay.
started this in the beginning.
So I'll make a motion that we continue this with Patrick.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the specs or no? I mean, just summary. I won't go through
You can
all.
do somewhere quickly, so the public will talk about.
We're talking about really 4 areas. Registration compliance, who's the owner, who's the manager, whether or not they're a corporation, just basically not so much an integration, but just checkbox. So that as someone's registration comes in, whoever is going to be implementing this can ensure that we have all the parts that we need for registration compliance. We're interested in advertising compliance, meaning that if there are specific limitations on, mostly it has to do with whether or not it's advertised for, things like tents or amplified music, which are not allowed, commercial meetings, which are not allowed. I'm not sure we'll be able to track those. What I do believe we'll be able to track are the limitations on occupancy, which is limited by either the 2 per bedroom plus 1 rule or the septic limitation, whichever is lower. And to make sure that it includes the town issued registration number. The aggregation information is basically, are we seeing a growth or a decline year over year in the total number of units that are offered for rent in the town that might inform future decisions around whether or not we think these are a good idea. And then basically in enforcement guidelines and procedures, so if someone's not registered, we send them a letter gently asking them to register if they're in excess of where they're supposed to be with things like occupancy, that we can automate that process. And that's one of the big features of the platform. Enforcement procedures has to do also with giving people an online form to fill out a complaint, so that that's all automated and it takes the burden off of Michael and his staff. I do believe that as a board, we need to set a registration fee if we haven't already. Did we do that?
No.
All right. That is in the bylaw and it's a requirement of this board. I think we need to set policies related to whether and when we want to find someone, and what types of violations warrant kind of a time to get into compliance versus maybe something like advertising where we provide one warning or several warnings, but then, do not allow for that. I believe that issue has to be looked at by town council and the town administrator to both set a fair set of policies, but also ensure that the town does not have liability that's created from any actions. And that's about it. So, that's kind of what we're looking at.
Okay.
Stephen Stern for Emerson. I believe those issues, some of those issues were addressed in the original passage of the short-term rental bylaw. Some of those were very specifically dealt with and approved by the Attorney General. You guys have to decide if you want to enforce the rules that you've already had passed by the town and approved by the Attorney General. I think the two of us.
Yeah, we're very glad to hear that the compliance is under discussion.
Yeah.
Because we would like to comply with.
So as far as this part,
We've had an ongoing problem.
yeah, hang on.
Wait.
Hang on. This isn't that yet. This is about the software and what's moving forward, okay?
Talking about implementing things that you've already passed.
Turn about being able to track them so that we can effectively manage them. That's what the software is
We
about.
fill out the form that you put on the website and note the violation, and that's confirmed by outside evidence. Why is that not a violation?
Okay, but at this point, we're discussing the software.
Well,
Moving ahead.
we can discuss this matter if you wish.
I'd like to get this passed first. And
All right, get that passed first. All
Then
right.
discuss.
Good.
Okay, let us get this information. So we're going to give you the authority to move forward on this.
Yep.
Look for
Yes.
the people.
There's two main platforms, GoGov and Granicus. We're going to pick one.
You guys pick the platform.
Yep.
And then when we get that platform, we can do all the stuff we're talking about.
It'll be a lot like the website implementation. There's going to be working with a vendor to come up with what we're looking to have configured. Then we'll basically get it all in place, then we'll test it out. This might take a couple months to get in place, but we have a plan to do a better job of tracking and communicating what the requirements of the bylaw
And
are.
then we'll take what we have in effect already.
Yeah, this is about implementing and enforcing.
And tweak it to fit this
Yeah, that's right.
and make sure it all works.
Yep.
And does the information go to Michael or does it go to Patrick or both
go
or
to-
how
No,
does
it'll
it?
be administered through the town.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we proceed.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye. All right, now we do that.
I'm Philip McCaffrey, I live at 5 Hawthorne. I'm very glad to hear that you're proposing software that will help you monitor compliance. But does that mean that all the violations that have occurred over the past 2.5 years
Or not
are
recorded,
not recorded or not?
taken into
So-
consideration.
So we are aware of the violations. So originally, I know that there were a number of violations right after the short-term rental passed. Warning notice was sent to the property in question, 7 Hawthorne. That after not receiving response, a follow-up letter was sent And then after that, the individual then fixed the advertisement that was listed. So I understand that you think that that creates 60-something violations. It does not. It creates a pattern. We informed him, then he fixed it. Going into.
That's actually not true.
All right.
I have pictures and I have emails that I sent to all of you last year showing that pattern over of months.
It was every day, I think, every day.
It was every day, and it was only recently taken down. It actually occurred for a year and a half.
All right, so as of June of last year, he had corrected the advertisement. Now, whether or not that changed or not, the town was working toward compliance on this issue.
I have
Ended up
emails
with-
sent to the select board on June 1st, June 2 on June 5th, one on June 6th, June 9th, June 10th, all documenting violations.
And at the end of June, he was within compliance.
Yeah, but this started in January. This was 6 months.
Steve, are we looking for retribution, or are we looking to try to get the
No,
processes? Let me
I would
finish.
I would like you to enforce the rules that
Yes.
were passed.
I understand.
So one of the jobs that we are obviously tasked with is making sure that we try to bring people into compliance. But also we need to make sure that we are fair to all parties involved. So at that time, yes, I did inform that's the process that we went through. At the end of June, after the second letter had gone out, he met compliance on the final day, which would have required, that's when the fines would have started. So therefore, that took care of that. During last summer, we received no noise complaints that I'm aware of.
That's correct.
He was within compliance with as far as we know, as far as what he was posting. I understand there were some emails sent saying there were 4 cars, 5 cars in a driveway. That is not anything we can act on. So just to be aware of that, we have to treat it like a residential home. They could be having guests over, we don't know. We don't get to go up and go into their home just because they're on a septic system. That'd be no different than if you guys are on septic system and your septic system's rated and you have 5 cars in yours, we can't go check to see if you're above
Except for the fact
compliance.
that septic was condemned one time.
And if it did overflow again, then he could have been in violations with the Board of Health to lose his occupancy. So that is something, as far as sending a notice of that is not something we could act on. We did get a number of bear complaints as far as walking the board through.
Yeah, I've sent myself, I think, 10 complaints over the past 2 months.
So the bear complaint, there was one sent on 6/30/2022. I informed the police chief, who contacted the owner representative of the issue. There was another bear issue on October 15th, and you have pictures of what was sent. There was, at the time, we contacted Mr. Eisler, he put up a storage shed. Now, we do know that the storage shed ended up being put up in an area which was within the setbacks. So that was addressed through the zoning board of appeals, through the proper channels. But this was a shed that was put up in order to try to address the bear issue. After the shed was ordered to be removed and was removed, the property brought in a residential trash dumpster and a commercial recycling dumpster. So under a 2.5 yard dumpster is considered residential, not commercial. He was informed on 11/10 that the commercial dumpster was not allowed. So this was about compliance. He removed the commercial dumpster, brought in 2 bear-proof containers and 2 non-secured containers for recycling. So that was in November. We also received a complaint on 125 about a debris in a wooden dumpster that was in front of the property for up to 2 years. That is not a violation of any bylaw of the town or anything else. It's a brush pile.
It's a trailer, it's a wooden trailer.
Yeah.
But it was
That's
at
it.
that point being used as a dumpster with construction debris.
Well, that was pointed out, the pictures, I have a picture of it there. I contacted Tri-Town Health, that went up and there was no visible trash there. So that was noted. There was a complaint on 4 or 5 of a potential garbage spill, which you guys have the potential, have the pictures of. It shows the trash can, bags, and trash. The label on the email was potential garbage spill. I contacted the owner's representative before it became a garbage spill and they removed the garbage. So that's not a violation. You did send a notice that it could be, but it was not.
Can I, Chuck?
Yes.
I think that clearly we're figuring out how to enforce this law, and we're going to work hard on, we got funding. We're going to work hard on the implementation of that plan that we presented at town meeting and got funding for. My personal opinion is that even if trash is picked up the next day, there's a chance we're going to have bear problems. We all do. I had bear trash in my yard 3 months ago because I stupidly put something on my back porch. I'm not making excuses for the guy or for anybody. I'm just saying that bears the reality of here. The advertising personally, I'm not speaking for the board now, I'm speaking for myself personally. The advertising, I have less tolerance for people who would repeatedly violate the advertisement. My understanding is that this issue may be moot because the owner in question has elected to stop renting this property. If he,
There's a car there right now.
I don't know what that means, but what I'm telling you is what we've been told, okay?
Yes, but
Can I finish, Steve?
I live there.
Can I just finish? So it might, but one of the things the bylaw does allow the select board to do is to request electronic or printed records for the last 2 years. And I personally have an appetite to do so if the sorts of systemic violations were to continue. So I understand what your concerns are. We're trying to make progress. I think what Michael just walked through shows a whole lot of time on the part of the town trying to manage this issue on your behalf. And I know that you're frustrated, I hear it in your voice, but my suggestion is.
Let me interject 1 second. It feels like you are, as a group, trying to bend over backwards to allow for.
No, absolutely not.
Business, and we live there.
As taxpayers.
We live in the community with you, and
You're not
we're the
listening.
ones who are put upon. We are the ones. And if you had to live, if each one of you had to live next to this, you would not feel so forgiving to this.
Nobody's forgiven anything, Steve. Who's forgiven?
Could I just point out something?
But we
I mean,
have
he could easily taken care of this. Yes, in fact, he does have 2 secured, but they're not secured. They're never secured. And the dumpsters he had were supposed to be latched. They were never latched. And right now, as an hour ago, he has 4 full garbage cans, or some of them were most full. 2 of them could be secured, but they weren't. So that's the problem. And I know personally, having talked to people who rented the house when the garbage is on my property, and after I started to pick it up myself, I started to ask them to pick it up and tell them to call him to get someone to attend to this. And one person told me that they were told to put all their kitchen garbage into the trash receptacle that's marked for trash home, and it wasn't secured. So
It's not clear.
and there's no set of house rules that specify exactly how to deal with the garbage
So
for nuisance.
one of the things I did include here is a sample of some of the emails that I do receive from Mr. Eisler, which points out, he pointed out to me, no one's trying to help me who wants to make a better community. We have a very dangerous bear problem. We believe that until one of the children gets seriously injured, that the town will continue to do nothing to protect them. At least we have tried. That's his response to me. So he is very unhappy with the way the town is treating him, which is why he's saying that the town's not going to take sides on either position. I hate to say we can't.
Except the bylaws specify that he has to have secure bear-proof garbage.
And he doesn't.
And he.
If he has to,
They're not.
doesn't he have,
But as we
I thought there
went
was
through the
two.
time frame, the first thing is when the first bear complaints came, we informed him he put up a shed. The shed was put up in violation. After removing the shed, he was informed that he needed containers. He went and got a commercial container and the trash one, which originally showed a chain on it, which was presented to the town as, I have a trash container with this on it, and then I also have a commercial dumpster, which told him to get rid of. He complied, got rid of it, said I'm getting 2 bear-proof ones for the trash, which were put in up there.
Yes,
So,
there are two.
yes.
But they're not latched, they're not secure.
but that's the tenant, that's,
There are no tenants right now.
but when the,
Isn't he the owner? Isn't he responsible for making sure that the bear-proof containers are
Are
in fact
properly
bear-proof?
maintained, and that the people
It's
that
pretty
rent his
simple.
property are told clearly what they should do with their trash, and that he has somebody to come and check after the renters leave to be sure that these details are taken care of.
And on a couple of occasions, the garbage bills that actually were not potential but actual, the garbage was on the ground for a week. The last garbage spill, the garbage was on the ground for about 4 days. Workmen were going in and out, walking right past it, nobody
Looking at
actually righted the garbage can.
It just feels like he's not really intending to.
It's almost as if it's deliberate. It feels almost deliberate. And we put in a lot of trees on one side, so I wouldn't have to look at his trash, because this probably may not be against the bylaws, but he's got a lot of construction debris behind his shed that abuts our property. And now, since the garbage is so attractive to the bears have gone through and destroyed one of our trees that we put up.
That costs hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, so I'm not asking for to be reimbursed, but this guy is
It
not.
just feels like we're not being treated fairly.
Yeah.
And we don't feel like we're being unreasonable. If he has an attendant that took care of his property and attended to the trash, bears are bears, they're gonna come by, they come by our house too, that's not the point. But our garbage is clearly in a container with a lock on it. We take care of our business. It feels like he's not doing the same. And that's so frustrating.
And it's a simple fix, but
You know, I mean,
the point is, how are you going, we want your help to get him to comply with just fixing it.
or just taking care of it.
Just being a good neighbor.
Right,
That's all. Just
exactly.
be a good neighbor.
So the number one thing is when you see that the trash is flipped over or knocked down, immediately send a picture. The police will go over.
All the
the
time.
fo-
I used to
Also
send it to
police.
Tri-Town, and I was told to send it, and I think I copied you all. And
Really,
I was told to
believe
send
me,
it
we're
someplace
very
else,
diligent.
And then now I send it to.
But what you cannot do, and I'm gonna just be upfront on this one, you cannot go onto the property and touch the trash cans that are over there.
That's trespassing.
So it was identified in the last police report, which I don't know if you've received a copy of it yet. That it was acknowledged that the trash bins in the first photo show that they were all shut. So you opened each of the trash cans to take a picture inside. Which then means that in the police report, it has been noted that you have lost credibility on this issue and therefore is an unverified complaint involving the property. Because as soon as all you have to do is show that when the trash is on the ground, then we'll go there.
We're going to try harder.
We will definitely each step of the way document.
Literally a mile away.
So they open it. I have pictures of a bear. One of his original dumpsters were plastic dumpsters. We have pictures of bears smashing the top and sitting inside and
Throwing things out.
having a party.
they do that everywhere.
Yeah, they do that everywhere.
But not everybody
That's
leaves the
against the
trash
bylaws.
outside
You should
all the
have
time.
a
Yeah.
bear.
Well, I know people put the garbage out the night before for the garbage guy and the bear takes it.
For the
I
raccoons,
mean-
and the raccoons.
But Chuck, this is all the time. This isn't, it's not
Occasionally.
ever.
And it's,
Well, I went through the emails that we have, and like I said, we have a 6:30, a 10:15, and there were a couple emails around these time periods, so they're counted as a single incident. There was the 125 one,
Yeah,
and then there was the 4-5 one of a potential one, which was headed off ahead of time. And then there was the 6-8 one. So I know you're saying all the time, but these are the ones that I've received from you.
well, I have 10 instances here.
Michael, I sent emails about the violations of the advertising for 3 months in a row, every day.
And at the time, he had a compliance letter, a violation and compliance letter. I know you think that we can just
With 30
go with,
days, but I said 3 months in a row. 30 days, you said, is the period to rectify it.
And what is your hope? Is your hope that we ask him to leave or
My hope is
your?
that we just make him comply with the bylaws.
We're
And that he's a
fine,
good neighbor, and
Just
that he
be
respects
respectful of
us.
us.
we're making it
That's
more
all.
expensive.
well, at this point, he's
Yeah,
informed both the police department as far as around the back, under our our wildlife feeding bylaw, and he's informed me in writing that he is no longer renting the building. I know you say there's a single car out there
Well, last
That
weekend,
doesn't-
there were
There are people there last week.
that he has removed the advertisement from it. It's all blocked. He sent me the confirmation of it, and that the house is gonna be actively up for sale. So if you witness that there's a large group or something over there, then send an email. We do look into these. We do look into every single one, and we work toward compliance. So that's what we'll continue to do at this point. He is saying that it is no longer removed. I went on the Verbo site. It's there. It's all blocked off. It's off Airbnb. There might be, I will try to confirm with him if there are any rentals that were already booked. When will those be happening so that we're aware of them and then I can make you aware of them? But right now, what I have to do is, like I said, move toward compliance. And each time when I've reached out, steps have been taken. I can't say that no steps were taken for the wildlife feeding bylaw or the rest. So each one, whether or not they were done correctly with the shed that ended up having to come down or the rest, it was a continual effort to work toward him getting in compliance with his neighbors.
So since he sent you a written notice that he is withdrawing, removing it from the short-term rental market, has he indicated that he is abandoning his registration as a short-term rental?
I will send him notice that he is withdrawing to be a short-term rental in the town of Stockbridge.
And let's find
And
out.
that, if there are any booked ones
Find out if
now,
any booked
that
ones
it
are
is
still continuing.
to inform us of what those dates are exactly, because we expect compliance with the bylaw through those. And then we'll go from there.
Great. I hope you understand this has been fairly frustrating for us.
I think we hear you, and I think it's important that we have to follow process too. Can't just carry, go and,
We're putting your hand into the bylaws.
but he keeps, as Michael said, getting things back into compliance just enough. I know it's just enough, but we can't.
But as a bigger issue, maybe the board should consider this in the future in terms of how you set things up. That, for example, you be mindful of the fact that when there are, I believe your bylaw calls for 3 violations in a 12-month period, you have the right to refuse registration. That you might think about that when it comes to your yearly acceptance of a registration. You certainly had ample opportunity to do so this past year.
I don't know what that is.
That's straight from your bylaw.
It's straight from the bylaw.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
I just want to clarify what I'm saying. I'm sorry to belabor this, but is it true, is it a violation of the bylaws to have garbage containers that are full of kitchen garbage that are not secure without being picked up for, say, months or weeks, as is often or not? Is that a violation? I don't see it in the bylaws.
It's a different bylaw.
That's.
There's a bear wildlife feeding bylaw, and then also if you have smells, that would actually fall under the Board of Health. So there are a couple different areas that can be approached. So if whether or not anybody in town has a neighbor where you're smelling constant trash, odors and the rest, that can be a complaint. When bears are entering trash, then it's a wildlife violation.
Right.
And then under the short-term rental, we can say that we need additional pickups or require him to remove containers or provide additional shelter. which, like I said, one was asked, he put the shed up, shed got removed, steps were, everyone was, pushing toward him to comply to make it better for his neighbors. And that, and I do understand the piece about 3 rentals. We also have to balance the fact that we have to give people time to correct issues and the rest. I understand that it's not happy. We get complaints on from building code violations to the rest. And why aren't you doing anything? And it's like, it has to go through the process. So.
Understood, but another bylaw that he's in constant violation of, we are supposed to know a person
To call
contact
on his property.
to address a problem or a
So we
complaint in
can
2
call
hours.
them and
That's
say,
never
listen,
happened.
this is happening, or we noticed this hasn't been done. Because lots of renters don't take care, and I can appreciate that. But the owner, the property owner should have a caretaker there that we could call and say, look, they left, the garbage is all over the place, or it's not secured properly, could you send somebody over? No problem.
Yeah.
But there's nobody like that we know.
And when we call him, he never returns our calls.
Yeah. It just feels like he's just an inconsiderate neighbor. And it's
Okay,
very
let's
frustrating.
see where this goes with him pulling off and possibly selling. It might take care of,
Itself.
But let's
Itself.
get that price. We know the real, like,
okay, and if,
he said he's never gonna sell at that price.
Yeah,
And he's-
okay, that's.
okay,
Separate issue though.
Yeah.
okay,
Thank you very
thank
much.
you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Stockbridge Affordable Housing Trust, Housing Production Plan. Authorize the use of funds remaining towards Pine Woods for playground improvements.
I would like.
Recuse.
I'd like to clarify this a little bit. So the money that at the 2 town meetings that went into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund was based on the community preservation funding. And because of that, there are very specific limitations on the kinds of projects sometimes we can do. So last year, the 3 of us authorized up to $50,000 for the housing production plan. And actually, through Michael's excellent management, the vendor came in at less than 20,000. So we really, without making a motion, I wanted to talk to you guys about, should we return the 30,000 to the ARPA money? Or should we, if the ARPA money has more flexibility for use than the CPA money has. So if you would designate the 30,000 just as an allotment to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, that would give us a little bit more flexibility on small projects that sometimes we don't have with the CPA. But you guys may feel that you want more direct control of the ARPA money. So rather than make a motion specifically on playgrounds or anything else, I wanted to explain the problem, not the problem, what the opportunity is, and see whether you would rather have the money returned or put it toward the Affordable Housing Trust with a little bit more flexibility than CPA has.
Can ARPA money be returned?
So
It's back to the general fund.
So what happens is that you guys appropriate the funds and then it has to be spent by 2024. So because you appropriated for this project and the full funds aren't going to be needed, yes, you
How
can
much?
pull those funds back, 30,000.
30,000.
So it was 17,250 for the consultant.
So it
We're
came
going to
in
leave
less.
about $2,750 for incidental mailing costs and the other stuff for the surveys that have to be done. So that leaves 30,000 right now that is not appropriated.
Right.
It's been, so you guys could leave it with the housing trust as an appropriation to be used toward putting in a new playground at Pine Woods. Well, it needs to be for a particular task, not just,
No, we can give it to Affordable Housing Trust. The ARPA can be used for the Affordable Housing Trust.
but it has to be spent. It can't be bankrolled. It has to be spent. You have to appropriate for a project. The money is expected to be
I thought
spent.
that affordable housing was,
It can't sit there, Patrick. That's what I'm saying. What are the Affordable Housing Trust going to use it for?
okay.
Right.
I understand what you're saying. I
Have to have
was
it
under the impression,
committed to a project and then
So-
spent by 24.
I,
One of the things it clearly says is we cannot set the money aside in any savings or anything. It has to be
got it,
spent.
I understand that.
So,
All right, yeah, my misunderstanding.
so they want to use this money to improve the playground,
At Pinewood.
Pinewood.
Yep.
But it may not,
30,000.
Yeah.
okay,
So
Is that a normal cost for a place that?
You'll be lucky if a place is not more than that.
Well, there's
So
also money at Donna says specifically for the playground, we can also use the CPA money. So if it comes out to 40, then we could take 10 from that and 30 from this.
I would like to see set of plans for the playground, what they're gonna do with, what they're,
So there's a couple steps here. If you guys appropriate the money to go toward the playground there, first thing would be is that Construct agrees to allow the town to install a new playground at Pinewoods using ARPA funds, which can be allowed. If Construct says yes, then it would be bringing in a company to take a look and say it's a 20 by 30 section of designing what it would be.
Okay.
We'd say we have $30,000. They would come back and say, well, you can do this. They might say, well, for a little bit more, you could do this. And then we have a plan and then we look at having it installed.
I just would point out that Michael used to run Parks and Rec
Yeah.
for another town, and I completely trust his ability to manage to whatever the budget is that we give him.
I have no issue. I mean, we gave money for planners up to keep them going. Pinewood's a very important part of this community. A lot of kids there. So I have no issue as long as we know exactly what it's being spent on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a worthwhile cause in my thought. So I'll make a motion that we allow to move forward and have it designed. And if it's a little over 30, we can decide if we want to use more of the money or not.
Or we can fund it through the money that we were already appropriated.
Well, 30,000, that's there, but if it's,
No, I'm saying if it's 35, we can
30.
take 5 from the Affordable Housing Trust appropriation. From
Because they can use it on Pinewood.
okay.
Yep.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
No, I think it's great. It's worthwhile.
Okay.
Low income household. Okay, low income household water assistance program authorized agreement.
This is, so why they have to enter an agreement with us is because we're the utility. We would still get paid. This is very similar to the heating oil assistance program. What it is it allows low-income individuals to have their water bill paid for.
So how do we get this out there to the right people?
So BCAC would take care of that.
Okay.
This is, would be an agreement with them. They manage also the affordable.
So they would
heating, oil,
notify
water.
the people
Right.
that are.
The only reason
qualified.
this is coming to us, unlike others, is because as a utility, we have to sign off and say we agree to be a part of this program.
gotcha.
So if you guys authorize me and the treasurer to enter into an agreement with this, the town still fully gets paid, but we don't get paid from the individual. If they're approved, it gets subsidized by the state.
Motion to approve.
This is an all-brainer. I make a motion that we move forward with this.
I second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And BCAC reached out and Erica was in communication and she did an
Okay.
excellent
I know we
job.
do these things
Getting
and
this
nobody
involved.
knows it's there. And
Right.
it's like, so if they can contact the qualified people, then they decide they want to do it or not, which way you want it, I don't know. But any little bit helps. Okay, appoint alternative rest of the river.
Yeah, we need to have an alternate representative to the rest of the river. It's required in the IMA.
And
So-
that's you.
So you could appoint me as the alternate, so if Steve Shat wasn't able to make it.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Michael
No,
Canal as the alternate. A second?
second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Second homeowners meeting date. I am pushing to do it on a Thursday night. Like every other meeting, but the only other thing will be on it, if we have any alcohol or entertainment license takes 2 minutes, and the rest will be dedicated to the second homeowners and residents alike to voice concerns or questions of anything that they have going on. Any
Okay, you want to
discussion?
come, yeah.
Go ahead, Patrick.
I think that, I have a couple of points to make. One, we used to meet 3 times a month. And if we're going to go to 2 times a month like we did a year ago, that we should have a little bit of flexibility because sometimes things come up and they need to be put on the agenda. So if you want to just do the focuses on this meeting, that's fine. But I don't think we should make a commitment that if things come up, we're not going to deal with them on the agenda.
Well,
That's
emergency
a minor.
comes up, we'll do it, but I just want to stress
Yep.
that it's
All right.
more directly towards this. I mean, some emergency, we're going to put it on there,
All right,
but
good.
it's,
Good. The larger point I'd like to make is that going back at least a couple of decades prior to Zoom, I get that. We had a meeting on a Saturday morning, and that gives people the opportunity to come and meet with us in person. And in-person meetings, as you have pointed out, Chuck,
Yeah, I like
are just better than Zoom meetings. There are a lot, I mean, look, we've got 6 people on this meeting and 5 of them have their screens turned off. You know, and I think that the fact is that meetings are better in person. And when folks are here on the weekends, they can come and meet in person, and it's just better. And I understand the idea that with Zoom, everybody can attend, but it's just not the same as being in the room with folks, as not being in the room with folks. And I don't have a strong opinion on this, but I do think that the tradition of a Saturday meeting is one we should hesitate to, now that COVID is over, to discontinue.
I mean, we have a meeting every Thursday night and the room's empty. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
so Saturdays are tough. I mean, we all got families, we all got jobs. Without Zoom, I would consider it, but I think with Zoom, I mean, they can attend any Thursday night meeting on Zoom that they have concern like any other resident. I like to treat everybody equal across the board. I don't separate anything. We don't have basically any other special meetings for any other groups. So I hate to segregate. So I lean towards and would like to have it on the Thursday night as a regular meeting.
I also agree that in-person meetings are better. It's a better feel, but I also think that the second home owner population, if I generalize, are retired, are older. We would plan for it. They could be here in person on a Thursday. It's summer. There is no reason they couldn't be. We start early enough. But of course, that is a generalization. Saturdays are lovely, but Saturdays are squeezy. There's a lot to do.
I think you make good points, and I acquiesce and make a motion that we add it to a Thursday. How about the first Thursday meeting in July? That we have the second Thursday in July? Or is that too soon? Where's July 4th fall in with Thursdays?
It'll be the following week.
So the date, your 2nd and 4th in July will be July 13th or July 27th.
Either one's fine with me.
It's up to you guys.
What do you think?
I think the later one, because that gives people time to plan for it.
Okay, let's do the July 27th.
Excellent.
And then if they want to be in person, hopefully they'll come and we will give them our attention.
And see what head of department you can get.
All right.
And I think it'd be strongly, if we can get somebody from the Sewer and Water Commission. Because that's going to be, I think, the biggest questions.
Sure.
So if we can get somebody from there, that'd be great.
I'll send out a request to have present department heads at that
And
meeting.
it's easier for them on Thursday nights than it is on Saturdays too. I mean, they all got families, they all got, so yes. And as many department heads we can get, I think the better. We'll make it mandatory, but push it up.
No, I'll send out a request tomorrow to schedule.
And this would be
Plan on coming
for,
through.
part-time and full-time residents, or any questions that. Okay, annual appointments.
There's only a couple on here that are to be determined. So if you get, there's a couple that are still highlighted. One is, let's just quickly go over the veterans agent.
What is
So they're
that?
working, it's a district-wide, they're working on getting that. Once we're notified, then we'll have to appoint.
Okay,
So that
there's
one's
nothing
just,
Just wait.
yep, that one's just a wait. There's nothing else as far
Okay,
as
the
that.
Stockbridge Bowl Association, Jamie would love to do that one over. You got an issue with that one?
No.
Okay. And the Stockbridge Bowl Stewards Commission, that's between you two. You want,
I'm happy to you know.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
right.
I would like to see, there's a meeting tomorrow morning, and I would like a priority to be the final adoption of the lake management plan and approval by the select board. And so
Indeed.
okay.
And you want to do that?
So
No,
Patrick
I'd
will
say-
go to the meeting tomorrow morning.
It's not on the agenda, so it doesn't matter.
And then I'll start after in
Okay.
July.
Yeah, because these are the appointments for July
Oh,
1st.
so-
Yeah, so why don't you,
All right, that's
finish
fine.
what you're doing?
So I'll make a motion, we accept all the appointments.
Okay, but before we do that, I have another one I would like to suggest.
And conservation, right?
So this is an additional committee that I would like to discuss. I'm not sure it's a good idea. I would like to have us consider the creation of another appointed committee. And that is unlike the second homeowners meeting, which is an informational meeting, I think that there's a lot of folks like Patty on the call today who have expressed an interest in advising this board on matters of policy. And I think we should strongly consider having a second homeowners advisory board that could be informed by the association presidents that are primarily second homeowners, people like Beechwood, Lake Drive, White Pines, and could do a deeper dive into the policy recommendations that we come up with around zoning, around taxes, around whatever it is that we're thinking of doing, and having a little bit more of a formal approach to how we interact. And I know that, Chuck, I agree. It was right in the Declaration of Independence, all people are created equal, at least all men are created equal. That's 1700s rather. But the fact of the matter is that the second homeowners can't vote, and collecting their feedback on things before we act. I could have done a better job in the last 3 years of doing that. I own that. I'll take responsibility for that. But I think that having a way, there's a lot of really good folks on the boards of these associations, and I think we should empower them to have a way to increase the interaction between the elected decision makers of the town, who are elected by basically half of the residents of the town, and representatives of the various communities who have a stake and have a voice, but don't necessarily have a vote. And so I would like us to consider, maybe as an agenda point for the July 27th meeting, a discussion of whether this might be a good idea. And if so, and if it's a recommendation, that we consider sometime in August, creating some kind of process to appoint it if we get feedback that this is something that the folks would approve. I don't want to take any action on tonight. I just wanted to suggest that we put that out there and see. And I would frankly love to hear from Patty and anyone else.
First of all, that's great, but it has nothing to do with this.
Has to do with appointed committees for 2024.
But it's not on this. at this
Well,
point. So
once we appointed, you can adjourn, so I wanted to get it out there.
No,
of what I
that's
want.
fine.
Yeah, okay.
Let's
Yeah.
appoint this first.
All right.
I'll make a motion that we appoint all the,
Use 100 people.
yeah, all the appointments. Do you have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay, now to your point, Patty, you got anything, comments, or anybody out there, any comments on that, or anybody?
This is Patty Kaya.
Yeah,
Thank you for the suggestion. Very interesting idea. So thank you for the suggestion.
you want to kind of get a feel for it out there?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
You're really good at that. No, really, seriously.
I'll second that.
You are a very good in-between communicator, and
Yeah.
you really help us out a lot. You really do.
Thank you. I truly care about the town, so I'm just trying to
I know
create.
you do. And I, if you guys want to do it, I don't see an issue with it. But we got details to work out, but I don't see any issue getting the ball rolling on this.
Well, but let's ask their opinion on
Yep.
July 27th. And Patty, I would think it'd be great if over the next month that, in the various forums and specifically the association presidents, we get the word out and let's talk about what might work. Obviously, we need to continue to improve communication between all of the stakeholders in the town.
We'll start with you guys and we'll
Yeah.
move on to nonprofits and stuff
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that. So,
Let's get them all talking. All right.
yeah. Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.